Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. The round of Premier League games this weekend is over and we've had wins across the board now. It seems like Manchester United picked up a win against Leeds United just as they were looking like it wasn't going to happen. All of a sudden they claw it out even with Harry Maguire playing, and Manchester City getting 3 past Aston Villa at home, especially in the first half where the game was pretty much settled and done, and Aston Villa picking 1 back up for consolation. The gap now with Arsenal has thinned. It's gotten closer to 3 points, with Arsenal having 1 game in hand, and Arsenal-Manchester City have to play each other on Wednesday. So this is all going to be very interesting in terms of the title race. But this is where we raise the question on the topic of today's video. Should Arsenal be in that situation after what happened during the weekend, after what happened yesterday? Should Arsenal be just 3 points ahead, or should they be 5 points ahead with a game in hand? Because once again, not just like the Chelsea game, there were other games this weekend where the VAR and the referees have just not only not done their jobs, they basically should not have shown up. Well, funnily enough, the VAR didn't show up, so we'll get to that one very shortly. But overall, the refereeing, what a calamity we have in this country. And I say it frequently, right? There's always a point to make about the referees, and I always compare to other European countries where you see the refereeing and it's somewhat competent. I'm not saying mistakes don't happen, but it's somewhat competent. You look at Spanish refs, German refs, French refs. I'm not going to say Italian refs because we know what happens there. And it's not even to do with the referees, I think. It's just between the teams and the owners of the teams. I don't know, but the match-fixing scandals that have gone down there is ridiculous. And we've still got teams under investigation, so it is what it is. But overall, the European standard of refereeing is well above and beyond what happens in this country. And we're meant to have the best league in the world. We're meant to have the most, efficient system in the world. When people talk about bureaucracy, when people talk about administration, when people talk about rules and regulations and watchdogs and eyes and making sure everything is in place, there's none better than England. There's none better than the UK when it comes to that sort of interrogation and attention to detail, right? But when you look at our football and you look at the best league in the world and you look at what we have in terms of infrastructure, in terms of money, the transfer window that just went, Chelsea alone, just Chelsea alone, forget all the other clubs, right? And I know Chelsea spent a flipping lot, so fair play to us for doing that. But I say fair play, some people are not going to be happy with that. But Chelsea alone spent more than the other European leagues combined, Bundesliga, La Liga, Serie A and Ligue 1, if I'm not mistaken, those 4 together didn't spend as much as Chelsea did in that window. Why? Because Chelsea have the ability to do so. And it's not just Chelsea. Manchester United have money and they just decide not to spend where they decide not to spend, and they decide to spend when they decide. Newcastle now absolutely minted. Man City, minted. Arsenal have decided to start getting the checkbook out. Tottenham started spending money. Who would have thought that would happen? Liverpool from time to time, but you see the fees and the amount of money spent, and you look elsewhere and you can't compare. So there's no excuse for us to have the highest quality of refereeing in this country. There is no excuse. Yet we always come back to the same point, and the fact that the referees let us down, and now VAR lets us down. And this is where I wanted to dedicate a video to what went down this weekend in terms of Arsenal's decision. As I said, there were other decisions during the weekend as well. But Chelsea's handball, as well as Arsenal's offside decision, where that could affect Arsenal's title charge. And, do I want Arsenal to win the league? No. Do I think they deserve to win the league? Yes. So if they went on to win it, I'd say congratulations, you deserve it. But I don't want to live in a world where we see Arsenal win the league after 19 years, because I know all the gooners are going to come out of their caves that we ain't seen them in 2 decades, and all of a sudden I'm going to get flashbacks to when I was a kid. And those people now have children, so it's going to be even more louder, it's going to be insane. But anyway, that regardless, jokes and banter, Arsenal deserve to win the Premier League, 100%. But when you look at it from a fair perspective and an unbiased perspective, this decision could affect their title race. As I've said, Arsenal are now 3 points ahead. They should be 5. Because they would have won yesterday had it been for that decision. So you have to look at that. Chelsea's thing with the handball and what went down against West Ham. I mean, that's just Mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. And that's not to say that Chelsea deserved the result in the end, because I felt like the second half we let ourselves down completely. Various reasons. I've gone into that in my match review that I posted yesterday, so if you want to go in depth, you can go and watch that. But the handball in itself, absolutely bonkers. How the VAR, at first, apparently they didn't even go and check it. What adds insult to injury is apparently they did. Apparently they did go and check it. And they somehow came to a consensus. Nah, it's fine. It's fine. So, all right, from now on, if you are a defender, just to let you know, if you do make yourself look like you're falling to the ground, you can block the ball with your hand. It's within the rules, apparently. Just to let you know, if you do play football, or, you know, if you are at a high level, or if you know someone at a high level, let them know. But any level of football, in this country, if you are going down to the ground for whatever reason, even if you just choose to fall down, you know, like Louis van Gaal did when he fell over against the fourth official on the touchline those years ago, you remember, he just decided to drop. If you do that, right, and you put your hand out and it blocks a shot, no, you're fine. You're fine. You're allowed to do that now. It's fine. So go ahead. It's within the rules, apparently. What a joke. What an absolute joke. And this is where we go to, well, There's that point, but I want to bring up the Arsenal one, because the Arsenal one blew my mind as well. The Arsenal one blew my mind for a different reason, because it screams corruption. It screams blatant corruption, and I can't be throwing accusations out, but I'm sorry. There is no other alternative for it. When you hear afterwards that apparently the referee who was in charge of the VAR, right, for that offside, forgot to draw the line. He forgot, his words, forgot to draw the line. That just screams to me, and even as a Chelsea fan, I say this, right? I don't want to say it, but I say it. This screams to me that this referee did not want Arsenal to get a result. Simple as that. Simple as that. How can you be assessing an offside decision and forget to draw the line? Just like we saw earlier on for Manchester United with the amount of offside VAR checks that there were for the goals that United scored, lo and behold, there was a line. There always is a line. You put a line through when you see if he's offside. He forgot to draw the line. I'm sorry, but that's equivalent of me forgetting to put my trousers on in the morning before I go out. It can't happen. It's impossible. It's impossible to forget to put your trousers on before you go outside, right? Can you imagine you're getting dressed, you put your underwear on, and then you just, yeah, I'm ready, right, wallet, keys, bye. And you just, it doesn't happen. You can't. It's impossible. It goes against the laws of all sciences, all whatever you wanna put on the table, it goes against it, right? It does not make any human sense. This guy forgot to draw the line whilst checking an offside. So we have to ask the question, what in the blue hell do we do here, right? Because there is a solution, but I don't think they're going to implement this solution, so I've got an alternative. The solution is to actually regulate independently, check on the standard of these referees, because that referee in charge of VAR, for example, you forgot to draw the line. I'm sorry, that's a sackable offence. It's a sackable offence. Just like we talk about managers that make sackable offences. Just like we talk about players that get into trouble and it's a sackable offence. This is a sackable offence. Why is it the referees don't get any, not criticism. They get criticism from us like I am doing now. But they don't get any accountability. There is zero accountability on the actions of a referee in this country. They can do what they want. And then there's a bit of scandal for a day or two and then it's forgotten about. That's just the reality of it. It can't be like this. There is a solution, which is to start regulating these referees and to start really, really assessing if these referees are fit for the job, because there's many that are not. I feel like, and I can only say this based on opinion. I can only say this based on what I think, because surely there are competent referees in this country. But I think if you go to League One, League Two, and even the higher stages of non-league, I'm sure you find young and competent referees there. Surely. Referees that are doing their jobs properly. Go and look at those referees. Go and look at promotion. Go and look at referees that can come into the Premier League and actually start doing things correctly. And for those ones that are not going to jump to conclusion and start dipping their decisions into what fits them or their interests, or if there's any envelope, or if there's any something like that going on, because who knows? Corruption seems like it's well and truly in our faces with decisions like this. So there has to be some sort of regulation. There has to be some sort of check. The alternative, because I don't think that's going to happen, right? That would mean that the Premier League or the FA would have to go, yep, okay, we need to implement an independent body to check on these referees. I think that goes against everything that the FA want and do, or the Premier League want and do, right? If not, these decisions wouldn't be happening, or when they do, the referees will be getting sacked. But they don't. So that tells me that the FA and the Premier League are happy with the way things are, because they never do anything anyway. So the alternative is, for me, especially when it comes to this, which is VAR related, get rid of VAR. Now, I know that VAR in and of itself is not the problem, right? The VAR is not the problem. But if we're talking now about the guy making the decision for VAR, right, using VAR, and they can't do it, or they make ridiculous decisions, or things like I forgot to draw the line, right? How about just remove the entire risk completely? Remove the entire scenario, and let's just go back to letting the linesman do his job, or letting the ref do its job. And we have a moan about human error for 2 or 3 minutes, and then we get on with our lives. How about that? So we just go back to that? The problem, as I've said, is not VAR, the technology. The technology does help, just like we've seen other places do it. It does help. The alternative solution for that is to actually start hearing what the referees say, just like we get in rugby, just like we get in cricket. You get to hear what the referees actually say to each other. That needs to be implemented, but we've been screaming about that for quite some time. Has it been implemented? No, not yet. No. If I'm not mistaken, the Club World Cup had a trial for that. But again, that's on a FIFA level. Is that going to be implemented by the FA or the Premier League? I very much doubt it. Very, very, very much doubt it. Because that would mean exposing decisions like this, which they seem to allow to go ahead. So you know what? Get rid of VAR completely then. Screw it. Because then there's no one to actually make that mistake in that box who doesn't get held accountable in the first place. This is where I've come to now. I would rather much, because I remember what it was like. It was okay. It was okay. Human error is human error. But to get human error from the guy in charge of VAR is... then what are you using VAR for then? There's no point. This is why I'm saying, if it's really come to it, get rid of the tech. Just get rid of the tech, and as I've said, we go back to the days of decisions made on the pitch. He's offside, and then you check after the game. No, he was just on. It's tight. Man, referee got it wrong. Human error, cool. We live with it because people make mistakes. It's fine. But you don't make a mistake like this. I forgot to draw the line, and I'm in charge of VAR. It's ridiculous. Or Chelsea's thing of, you go back and you check the replay. You can see that he's looking at the ball as he drops and puts his hand there. You can see. It's obvious. But no. Nothing given. Nothing given there because VAR were asleep. VAR were asleep. There was no decision, no check, no nothing. And then later on we find out, apparently there was a check. Didn't hear about it at the time. Referee got on with the game pretty quickly. So this is where we need them to be checked, verified, vetted, all sorts, right? In terms of keeping the standard high, and sack referees when they make decisions like this. Sack them. We should get interviews and press conferences for referees so then they are held accountable in front of the press, just like managers and players are. But that's not going to happen either, is it? So if that's not going to happen, there's not going to be an independent regulatory body to check. If there's not going to be any of this that we're actually suggesting, can we just get rid of VAR then? Let's just go back to how it was. Simple. And we'll just blame it on the ref. He blew an offside decision and it happens. Maybe he couldn't see. Maybe a defender was in the way. That was the excuse back in the day and you lived with it. You just lived with it and you got on with it. It was fine. It was fine. And then when it gets blatant, like Chelsea-Barcelona 2009, where that was blatant, 4 penalties and you could see the referee was blatant, his career ended straight after that game because he was getting death threats. But you could see that there was corruption happening in front of your eyes and that referee disappeared immediately after that game. You never saw him again, right? Maybe we'll just go back to that. Maybe. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear your opinions on what went down this weekend in terms of the refereeing and the VAR. But look, as I've said, if they're not going to do anything, can we just stop using the tech then? Simple as that. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Much appreciated. Your opinions are all read down below, so leave them there. Thank you very much for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash the like button if you've enjoyed this. Tomorrow you'll be getting another video, and we do look forward to the Champions League. That's kicking off Tuesday, Wednesday. Dortmund, Chelsea on Wednesday, as well as Arsenal, Man City in that very, very important Premier League fixture happening on Wednesday too. And then there's Man United, Barcelona on Thursday. So we've got a good week of football. So I'll keep all of you guys posted on what I have to say about it all, starting from tomorrow, and I will see all of you then. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one, people. See you in a bit. Take care, and peace.